Welcome everybody who is joining us on Zoom. I can see your beautiful faces. Welcome everybody who's joining us on Facebook. I can imagine your beautiful faces, but really grateful that everybody who is here, and grateful that you are taking the time on a beautiful summer night to spend some time in sharing these ideas and thoughts about joyful living. My name is Mike DeLuca. I am your host. Whether you like it or not, you're stuck with me for tonight. And of course, this program is our Sunday Goal Achievement MasterMind. We do this here tonight, Sunday night. We're live 2 Sundays a month, and we are recorded 2 Sundays a month. And this is brought to you by my company, Integrative Wellness and Development, LLC. And it is all about education, inspiration, sometimes perspiration, but all about sharing thoughts, techniques, and ideas to help make your life a little bit better. We are not here to diagnose, treat, or prevent any type of illness or condition you may have. We recommend that you seek help from a licensed physician or specialist in the area that you are challenged with. If you are challenged, we are here strictly as an educational service. We are not affiliated with any group, and everything that you see and hear tonight is for your benefit and for education. So with that, I'm going to get started and go to our PowerPoint and introduce the topic tonight and press all kinds of wonderful buttons that make things happen. And here we go. So, as I said, and as you might have seen, if you saw the Facebook post, topic of tonight is 7 things to do to soar into a joyful life. So tonight is about some techniques and tools to have a more joyful life. And I researched a lot of different things.
You're muted, Mike. Mike, you got muted.
Okay, we're back. All right, sorry about that. Having some internet problems. We have some tornado warnings and storms going on here, but that's okay. We're resilient. So I'm going to share my screen again. See how this goes. Yeah, okay. So, as I said, these are 7 tools, 7 techniques, 7 tips to create a more joyful life. These are not the only ones. I'm sure you have many you've been following. And if you've been studying the areas of, joyful living, personal development, you've come up with many of these. But tonight we're going to review them and talk about how they apply and how we can apply them creatively. So, point number 1, trust yourself, trust your instincts, and if you believe in a higher power, trust in a higher power greater than circumstances of the day, greater than us. When we believe in the power of the spirit of life, when we believe in our own instincts, and when we believe in our capabilities, they will guide us. And when we connect with that guidance, anything and everything is possible. And when everything and anything is possible, life is a joyful adventure. So trust yourself, your instincts, and higher power. Practice self-confidence. Okay, oftentimes, People say, wow, that person, he's very or she's very self-confident. No one is born that way. It requires attention, and it requires training, and it requires practice, because it's so much easier to doubt ourselves. It's so much easier to listen to other people who may not have the confidence that we do, right? And part of practicing self-confidence is to seek validation from yourself, your higher self, your higher power, and from your vast experiences in your life, right? Oftentimes, people will seek validation from everybody and anybody else out there. And that becomes a real challenge and can really hold you back, and certainly make life a less enjoyable and joyful situation. So we seek the validation from ourselves, right? And with that, it's important to not keep comparing ourselves with others. Okay? We're all very unique individuals. We all have our special talents. We all have our special challenges to learn from. But there is nobody in the universe exactly like you. And so it's important not to compare yourself all the time with other people. What are they doing? How are they doing? How are they progressing? What do I have? What I don't have? Stop the comparing and really focus on what is beautiful and wonderful and powerful about you. And you can certainly recognize the same in them. Part of that also, continuously compliment yourself. And be conscious of the negative self-talk and exchange that, replace that with positive self-talk, positive affirmation about your strengths, about what's beautiful and powerful about you, right? We want to do that. Also, we want to always think about refraining from judging others and judging ourselves harshly. Okay. When we practice this, life becomes more joyful when we're not judging, when we are seeing the best in ourselves and others, right? When we're complimenting ourselves and others, when we're practicing self-confidence, and when we know we don't need anybody else's validation but our own and that of whatever higher power you believe in. So that's point number one. Point number two, practice constant and consistent gratitude, right? This is one of the most powerful tools for a joyful life. It's one of the most powerful tools for personal and spiritual development. And that is moment to moment recognizing the miracles in the mundane. Recognizing every minute is a miracle. Recognizing there are gifts in our greatest achievements and our greatest challenges. There are gifts in our problems and our solutions. And everyone in our lives is a gift, right? Everything in our lives is a gift. So we want to celebrate the simplest gifts, wins, and learnings. When we're practicing that gratitude, it's important to remember 10% of life is what happens to us. And the other 90% is how we choose to act and react. And so we choose the attitude we have when we are reacting or acting based on what has happened. And if we take the higher road, and rather than react with anger or complaints or condemning or, blaming, and we look at everything as an opportunity for more wisdom, more love, and more freedom, we can better practice that gratitude. Find the gift and the opportunity to practice joy in every situation you find yourself in. right? There's an opportunity in every and any situation to find the joy, to find that beautiful feeling of being truly alive, truly connected, truly happy, truly grateful. Okay? Point number 3, keep taking as many opportunities as possible to create in your life, to experiment in your life, right? Never stop dreaming, never stop creating, never stop using your imagination. I say that imagination is the soil where joy grows in, right? So when we use our creative imagination, and whether it's in some sort of art, some sort of music, some sort of writing, or just living creatively, coming up with new ideas to face challenges in business, our imagination is an incredible tool. And our dreaming, our ability to dream new dreams, dream new possibilities, create new opportunities. That's a joyful strategy in living our lives personally and professionally. And as part of that practicing creativity, keep our thoughts and actions leading to creating, right? Leading to contributing versus destroying, versus sabotaging, right? Keep focused on the creating and not undoing things for ourselves and others, right? Okay. Number 4, technique number 4 for a joyful life. Don't always wait for the perfect moment to act. Take action to make the moment perfect. Okay? Part of that joyful living is being bold and adventuresome. Right? Don't let fear of making a mistake or fear of failing prevent you from trying, prevent you from learning. Don't let it prevent you from finding success. And don't let that fear prevent you from finding joy. Fear cuts us off from our creativity. It cuts us off from love. It cuts us off from inspiration. And it cuts us off from a joyful life. There's so much magic in every moment of every day. But it's hard to see and appreciate when our vision is clouded and darkened by fear. So part of that is remembering a lifetime is very short. So it's important to spend as much time doing, as much time learning, right? As much time experiencing, as much time celebrating. Don't spend all of that time waiting for things to be perfect, waiting for the fear to go away, waiting to where you're feeling like, well, I'll be ready for this tomorrow. Right now, I don't feel ready. And then the next day, I'll be ready for this tomorrow. Before you know it, 70 years can go by really quick. And there are a lot more yesterdays than tomorrows. So it's really important. Take the time every day. Time is precious. Spend that time doing, spend that time learning, spend that time practicing, spend that time building. Don't waste that time waiting. Don't waste that time shivering in fear about what might happen, what could happen. Make things happen. The world is big. It's a big, big place. The universe is a big, big place with limitless possibilities. Don't allow your comfort zone to become a prison that isolates you from all of these possibilities and all of the opportunities of interacting with other people and creating all kinds of wonderful, joyful experiences. Every day, make the time to find the joy in the very adventure and discovery that life brings us every day. Take the time, make the time, find the joy, and celebrate the adventure. Every day is an adventure. No amusement park ride is as powerful, wonderful, dramatic, and valuable as when you wake up in the morning and you start your day and all of the magic happens. Point number 5, surrender all anger, surrender all resentment, right? Surrender all desires of revenge. That anger is a poison we take and then expect the other person to die, right? That's exactly what anger, resentment, and striving to get retribution for someone, right? Taste the profound joy that is found in peace. Practice forgiving others and practice forgiving yourself. Take the time and give forgiveness to everyone who's ever done anything in the past. Forgive it all. And ask forgiveness for anything and everything you've ever done in the past. And find the joy in that letting go. And then practice compassion. Practice understanding. Number 6, as much as possible, surround yourself with positive people, right? And if you don't have a lot of positive people around you, get out of your comfort zone and go find them. Go find the people who know the things you want to know. Go find the people who live life with joy. Go find the people outside of your comfort zone who live the way you want to become, who live life with joy. Find those people. Seek them out. Learn from them. Hang out with them. Be grateful for them. Right? If we continue to just associate with the same people exclusively all the time, we will stay in the same place all the time. Right? So it's always about, embracing that adventure of life and get out there and make those opportunities to connect with new people. And if there are things you want to learn or things you need to learn, go find the people who've already done it. Go find the people who have the confidence and the experience, and go let their confidence and experience rub off on you, right? And then when you're out there meeting these people, compliment the positive things, compliment their greatness, compliment the joy that they have in living, right? Compliment everybody you meet. Find something to compliment them on. Inspire them to make that thing you are complimenting them on shine even brighter. Because when we do that, it will shine in us and in our personal lives. Right. So every time you recognize a strength, a superpower, something well done, and you compliment somebody on it, and you give them credit for it, and you show them gratitude for it, it feeds that same quality inside yourself. That's because we're all connected, right? We're all connected. All of life is connected. And that what you do that's positive and life affirming and empowering to another, it feeds those things in you, and you become empowered. Make sense? And finally, number 7 of the things that I chose to focus on tonight, the importance of practicing love, service, and generosity. Okay. Take the time, make the time to say, I love you, as many times as possible to family, friends, pets, yourself, right? And even you can quietly say it to yourself, I love you, to a stranger, somebody you're meeting for the first time, right? When we do that, when we affirm that there is love flowing between us from our hearts into their hearts, we are uplifted and we are more joyful, right? But loving it is a skill. Loving takes practice. Believe it or not, I've encountered hundreds of people in my life who were never told that somebody loved them. Their parents never told them. Their spouses never told them. Siblings, friends. It's really sad, but it happens. And so when we make that time every day to let people know you love them from the deepest part of your heart and soul, that opens the door to joy for you and for them. Practice living in the spirit of service. Keep doing good deeds, little things, and serving the greater good, even when it's not recognized or rewarded. It doesn't matter. The doing is the reward for us. Having the opportunity to do a good deed, having the opportunity to make a difference in someone else's life is a gift in itself, right? I remember around a holiday, my son Derek and I were having a breakfast at one of the local restaurants. And it was the holidays, and we made it a point during the holidays that we would pick somebody out in the restaurant. And usually, everybody is not as well off as everybody else or as we are. And so, you'd often spot someone who maybe, was dressed not as warmly as the winter should have been. They were kind of counting the change in their pocket to see if they could afford a cup of coffee. And we would call over the waitress and say, please give that person whatever they want. Make sure they have a nice full breakfast and just put it on our bill, but just don't tell them who did it, okay? Just say they were recognized as being someone special. Okay, and then my son used to love doing that, and he has a beautiful. Both my sons have beautiful, loving, grateful hearts of service and kindness, and I highly recommend making a practice of doing that from time to time. You gain so much more than you give, or helping a friend out when they're in need. Sometimes that means just being there for them. It can be service just to listen, right, with a beautiful heart. and recognize the love, the service, and compassion in others, right? Catch them doing something right. We talked about this, I think, last episode. Make it a habit of catching people doing something right and praising them for it. So much of our life is spent having people point out the things we do wrong, the mistakes we make, right? Very few times people take the time to say, hey, that was really great. What you did was really powerful. I really appreciated it, right? Take the time to do that. It makes an incredible difference. Okay. So, as I said, these aren't all of the things to do to soar into a joyful life, but I found these are things that are very, very helpful to open our hearts, find the magic in your day, and truly transform what looks to be an average or difficult day into a joyful day. So with that, I'm going to stop the screen share. And now it's your part of the show. So I welcome you to raise your hand, your little golden hand there, and unmute yourself. And if you have a question or comment, you are welcome to ask it or say it, and we'll chat. So who's second? I was first, so who's second? Jojo.
Well, thank you very much. I'm having issues with my internet. I'm cutting off, let me know, and I'll give my turn to someone else. Just,
Hey,
Okay.
go.
Okay. So I love all the 7 things you share. And, but, I wanted to kind of, on number 5, you have surrender, all anger and resentment. It is a reason we take and then expect, that kind of anger. It reminded me of an experience I had on the holidays, during the holidays, out of all times, I went to Starbucks and I ordered something just to find out I left my wallet at home, right? So the cashier at Starbucks, she was really, really sweet. And I said, oh my God, I'm sorry. I forgot my wallet. I don't have money. Just forget it. And she's like, so what's your name? And I said, oh, well, but I'll never mind. Thank you. And she goes, oh, don't worry. And I wasn't getting it. I was going to the fact that I didn't have my wallet, that I recognized that she was giving me a gift.
Yes.
She was giving me the coffee. She just putting in the order. But I just felt so uncomfortable. I don't know why. It just came out of the blue. And so I'm looking around and I'm like, oh, I'll come back. When I go pick up my husband, I'll be back. And she's like, it happens. Don't worry about it. But she was so sweet. And I still let it go. I mean, I was, for whatever reason, I needed this, feeling sorry for myself. I call it my pity party thing. And I couldn't accept it. So I finally, and she said, don't
worry.
I think she told me like 5 times. So I'm crying. Now I'm crying. I'm crying in the store. And I asked for her name. And so I go to the car and I cry some more. And I'm, oh my God, I'm so foolish. I left my wallet. I'm driving without a license. What? All these things. And then it dawned on me, all this work I've been doing, right? All these different things I've been working on for a long time now. And it all boils down to, I don't know what I'm so upset about it. It was like, I started feeling sorry for myself, disappointed, all these different things. And I said, oh my God, this boils to, I don't love myself enough. I couldn't have the gift of love from someone else. You see, like I am always very, I don't mind giving to other people, but when it comes to me and someone's doing something nice for me, I don't, I feel uncomfortable or whatever. And so then I stopped it in the moment. I remember all of the things we're going over this program, gratitude, and I'm like, oh, I need to fix it right now. I can't keep up. And I said, forget it. It's done. It's done. I stopped crying and I started chanting, a special mantra that I use, that I love, filled my heart with love. And then I could accept it. It was just like a shift. It actually shifted it completely. And I let go, I surrender it. And I said, you've had it, you've done this. It's okay. Someone can do something. This was a gift. And then, I was happy. It was like, oh my, I went from like feeling sorry for myself, for forgetting my wallet, to being accept a gift of love from someone. For me, she took me on my word that I left my wallet. And anyway, so I wanted to, so thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. And I really appreciate you sharing that. And it's a great example of, how we are so patient and so loving and so forgiving of others. But we need to practice doing that for ourselves, right? To recognize we are as much loved by life. We are as much an important being. We are as much someone who deserves kindness and love. And also, there was no accident that you forgot your wallet, because it was that person's gift that they earned to do something nice for you, right? How often do they face mean people, right? Who, when they don't get their order right, or it doesn't have the triple latte mafa waka waka waka, with this or that, these complicated things that people order. And if, one of those 400 things is not exactly the way they want it, they go nuclear, right? These poor people face that every day. But what a gift when you give them the opportunity to be kind, and when you accept that with kindness and gratitude, it can really change their day. So that's a great lesson for all of us. Accept the gifts that come, accept the love that comes. It's just as important to accept and receive love as it is to give love, because that's how we become joyful. We have to receive the joy. We have to receive the love, the magic, the wonder. We have to be able to see it and receive it. And that takes practice. So, great story, Jojo. You're amazing. There's no one on the planet more loving and kind than you are. And, you just gave that person a gift of being able to show their beauty and their gratitude and for life. So, yeah, let's just keep giving those other people a chance to do that. If they want to hold the door for you, thank you, right? If they want to give you the seat on the bus, thank you, right? Accept everything with gratitude and know it's coming from the highest place through that person. And it will be our opportunity to do that for someone else. And it all goes round and round, right? Let it be good things that go round and round rather than the negative things, the harmful things, right? So great. Who else? Summary.
Mike, for me, what I loved the most was the actual topic. So often I focus on, what do I have to fix? Where do I have to work hard? What's my next challenge? What's the next mountain to climb? And to realize that it's just as important, even more important to be wondering and opening to, how do I infuse joy? And if I, in fact, if I put everything on its head and I wake up in the morning and say, where can I put joy in today? Everything else will probably work better, all the other stuff. So that's what I appreciate about tonight, the topic and the invitation to say, get yourself off the hook and put joy in. So thank you.
Thank you. And, as you were talking, this song was floating through my head from the 1960s from the group Three Dog Night, Joy to the World. I don't know if you remember that. Joy to the world, all boys and girls, joy to the fishes in the deep blue sea, joy to you and me. It makes me smile just, thinking of those words, but it's very powerful, right? When we make it our mission to live our lives joyfully, to find the joy in life and to share that joy with others, however you find it, and we all find it differently, but when we find it, to take that opportunity to really grab it, embrace it, and share it, life becomes magical. It really does. So thank you, Sunmarie. And you certainly are someone who spreads tremendous joy to the world, to the fishes in the deep blue sea, and you and me. Okay, thank you. Sylvia. Sylvia.
I had to laugh at that because I struggle with joy. I have so much stuff that I let myself, and it is letting myself. I acknowledge that. I get distracted. And I want to watch this webinar and learn this, that, and the other thing. And it plus a lot of other garbage going on. So joy is something that it's a focus for me if I seek it. And I recognize what you were saying about you have to receive it, accept it and receive it to feel joyful. Years ago, in my first marriage, my in-laws turned me on. I think it's a book by C.S. Lewis, Surprised by Joy.
Mm.
I never read it, but that title, Surprised by Joy, has always stuck with me. And even within my spiritual practice, there's an exercise we can do. We can go like ahead in the time track and drop little bits of joy, so that
That's great.
Bump into in the future. And so the other day, what do I do? I'm in the midst of all this muck or whatever. I'm in the kitchen doing something, and I'm dancing, joy to the world. All you boys and girls. And I was shocked, surprised, and joyful. So it was just totally a fun thing.
That's it. Part of that is having fun. Find the fun. Take the time. I saw a quote once. Dance like nobody's watching you.
Yeah.
Or if they are, dance like you don't care. Just, life is short, and just celebrate that, celebrate those moments when you catch that joy, right? Life, the spirit of life is such a wonderful, beautiful, loving, and joyful energy. And when we open our hearts to it, it wants every moment of our life for us to be joyful, for us to be happy, for us to be learning, for us to be free. I've worked in so many places in the world where there is no freedom or very little freedom. And people still, under the most oppressive conditions, find the simple things to be joyful about when they have absolutely nothing. I've been with families who live in huts with no doors, and they were happy, and they shared a barbecue, and they were full of joy. They loved their family. They loved their country. They loved where they lived. They loved their animals. Love and joy and gratitude, and generosity. They had an abundance of that. They had very little else, but they had an abundance of that, and that made their life precious and wonderful, right? So, yeah, it's a matter of taking in each moment, taking the time to stop, to look at where is our attitude right now? What's our attitude right now? Where is our attention, right? If our attitude is positive, then our attention finds those positive things to be grateful for and to dive into and experience joy. If our attitude is always negative and judgmental, we'll find all of those things, to be angry about and not be joyful about. So we really control, we can't control what other people do. And we talked about this in one of the 7 points. We can't control what other people do. We can control how we respond to it and how we let it affect us. That we can control, right? So it's important to take that control, take that ownership of our life, of our world, of the time we have, and determine what is it we want to experience and what is it that we want to give out to the world. Yeah. So thank you, Sylvia. Who else? Who else has something they want to share?
Yeah, Michael, this is Joel in Pittsburgh. Yeah, thank you very much. This is wonderful. Exactly a year ago, I started doing participating in some 12-step recovery stuff that has been an issue in my life for a long time. But one of the things that's really interesting is navigating through all these different people who have all sorts of different spiritual views and everything. And it's been super at times confusing to me. And then I'm also still unwinding some of my own, issues in life. And it's been so much fun though. And part of that has been the fact that, part of the catalyst for all this has been the fact that I lost mobility starting last year with my hips and my lower back. So so that's caused me to slow down and have all this time to do something. Plus I happen to be retirement age. Yay. I hope everybody can make it to be retirement age in their country that, has this, Social Security or something like that. But the step one you had, the item number 1, trust yourself. That's been a big part of my life. But I've been trying, but what's been interesting is other people's ideas of what works in their life and how they try to project that onto me. So it's really interesting how other people, they find joy or a certain measure of joy for their life, and then they think that should apply to me. And so it's really, I've been trying to find other words to talk to other people because I'm in this group for the long haul because I know it's part of my service to life and I just love it. I really love it. So I'm looking at different ways to talk to people. So, practicing love and service is part of the 12 steps, it's the 12th step there. And, there's so many people with addictions today, of course, and it's so easy with the internet to get an addiction to just about anything. But,
Absolutely.
Yeah. But the whole, I think the major thing is just really connecting with people on a level that says to them, they are their own best person to know how to guide themselves by looking inside and connecting with their own higher power. And it's just really interesting how different people believe that, but don't practice it. or think some sort of book is more important than anything else in your whole life. It's really, so I've been looking for different, so I thank you for this meeting today and how it's given me new ideas. And also it's just pretty gosh darn very uplifting and joyful for me just to be here.
So glad you're here. And thank you for, feeling comfortable enough to share your journey. So often we discover the challenges we find ourselves in our lives are also there not only for strengthening and learning, but also to put us in places with other people who need to have our light shine on them, who need to hear our story, who need to be inspired by our love and our energy. And we can sometimes, unconsciously choose certain experiences where they actually lead us to be of value and of service. And you're right, there are all kinds of addictions. I've struggled for years with an addiction to sugar and carbohydrates. And, people say, oh, that's not an addiction. But when I discovered these little, aliens in my digestive system, these bacteria and yeasts and things that hack my nervous system down there and scream out, you need more sugar. You want sugar, right? You want that sugar cereal. You want that sweet thing, that soda, that cake, that pizza. You want that. You want it. You want it. You want it. You want it, right? What it boils down to is eventually us facing how strong is our why, right? How strong and what is our motivation to begin to take the small steps, right? And that's real key. Nothing goes away like magic. You can't wave a Harry Potter wand and have something disappear. That's a challenge like that. It's there to teach us, and it requires small steps, one step at a time, one day at a time, one moment at a time, one choice at a time, and one celebration at a time when we make the choice and we follow through and celebrate that, right? And then there are times when we need help. And that's the time when you find somebody who you can lean on, who you can pick up the phone, who knows what you need, who's been where you are, and you can speak to them and say, I just need someone to talk to. I need to get over this hump. I need to get over this difficulty I'm at right now. And be able to do that with no self-judgment, be able to do that with complete trust and gratitude, and know that it's okay to need help and ask for help. That's why so many experiences we have are to get us to the point of being able to ask for help, right? To ask someone who knows, who's been through something, ask them to help us because they are training us to go help somebody else. And that it just gets passed down along the line, right? So much of our challenges are there to teach us, to challenge us, to learn, to develop a strong enough why of service, wanting to serve ourselves, wanting to serve our family, wanting to serve our community, wanting to serve our company, right? And that why becomes strong enough motivation to take that journey. And it's a difficult journey, but difficult journeys strengthen us, right? I go to the gym 3 or 4 times, a week, and I will never get stronger at lifting feathers, right? I can lift feathers 10,000 times a day, and I will not get any stronger, right? I have to lift stuff that's heavy and heavier and heavier in order for me to get stronger. So when we start having greater and greater challenges in our life, it's not because we're bad. It's not because we're stupid. It's not because we're weak. It's because we've earned the right to get stronger, to face bigger challenges and use the tools we have and make the why that is inside of us, that wants to grow, that needs to grow, that must grow. When that why is that strong, I want to do this, I will do this, I must do this, right? When it's that strong, I must do this. That's when we get stronger. That's when we build momentum. One step at a time, one day at a time, one step at a time, one day at a time, one celebration at a time. And sometimes we'll go backwards. Sometimes it's 2 steps forward, 1 step back. Sometimes it's 2 steps forward, 3 steps back, but you keep going. And eventually it's 10 steps forward, then 20 steps forward, right? And 365 steps forward, right? And 3,650 steps forward, right? So thank you. Anyone else like to share something? We have a few minutes left. Then I'll ask a question. Okay, Sylvia. You'll need to unmute yourself first. There you go.
But it might have been a twitch and double clicked it. Anyway, when you were talking about experiences, well, my notes are a little off the map. Anyway, years ago, I went through a clinical depression for a few years. And some people, one friend said, oh, you're not depressed, whatever. I'm depressed. I get out of bed and do stuff. And then I'd say, you're not depressed if you can get out of bed, right? It doesn't work that way. It's a big dark hole. Anyway, went through it, came out the other side. And then one day, I'm shopping for a battery for my car. And I went to this out of the way little shop that I like to go to because they were inexpensive there, whatever. I'm chatting with the fellow as he's putting my battery in. And something he said somehow brought up depression. And I realized like I had things that I could share. And it was a jolt because it was like, holy cow. I went through it so I could do this. And this was some years ago, and it was just epiphany, I guess is the word, aha moment. Long before I heard it on the outer. So yeah, this connection.
Yeah, and we are all connected, and it's important that that adage we hear all the time. Things don't happen to us; they happen for us. Many times, things don't happen to us; they happen through us, and we receive the experience not just for ourselves, but then we receive it because there's someone out there who we're going to connect with, and we are the only one that speaks their language, right? That can communicate the depth, the meaning, the power of the experience to them. And we're the only ones who can give them hope, right? Because we've gone through exactly what they're going through, and we have the street cred, right? We have the credibility. We're not talking the talk. We've walked the walk. And that's how we help people, by walking the walk, going through it, and then being able to, help them through it. Jocelyn, did you want to share something?
Yeah, that reminds me, this morning I had two person that I was talking to, and they were both of them very concerned with sickness. And one of them lately started saying, that's enough. And that's another person that complains normally. And as I kind of overheard that, I started saying, sickness is just a signal. It's just an information. This is the body saying to you, I need a little more of that, or a little less of that, or more attention here. But you are not the sickness. It's when you start believing you are the sickness, then you lose all your resources. But in that case, I said, it's just an element of you. I've seen videos of people in Japan climbing mountains with cancer because they were prepared and in advance, and they would do it because they understood they were not the sickness. The sickness was an element of information to give attention to, but they could do just almost anything they wanted if they wanted to do it with. So I said, now it's time to look at that and say, what is it that I need to make the next step? What is it with that limitation that I can't realize despite that it's there? Who can help me? So suddenly I saw their face change and something of an inspiration coming to them that maybe something that they wanted to do later on in the year could be possible if they just look at it from that place.
Yeah, that's very, very important. Thank you, Jocelyn. And it's important to recognize, and it's important to seek out those people whose stories are inspiring. When you think about, one of the greatest quantum physicists of our time, Stephen Hawking, right? And how impaired he was physically, yet how incredibly brilliant and incredibly insightful he was. Early on in my career, I had a program I was involved in where we had quadriplegics who all they could do was move their head like this. That's it. That's the mobility they had. They couldn't move their arms, their hands, their legs. They could just do this. And we developed a program to where we had companies teach them how to program computers using a straw that they held in their mouth, a special straw. Mm-hmm. And they learned to program computers by typing on a keyboard with a straw that was in their mouth. And they were very successful, and they had beautiful, successful lives, and they had families, some of them, and they earned a good living and were, had that joy of doing a good job, making a contribution, earning a salary, earning their place in the world, right? There's so much opportunity for us to use our creativity to face the challenges we're given, and then use that same creativity to find the joy, not only in the solution and the victory, but in the challenge itself. When we can face the challenge with joy, right? We are really taking steps towards incredible growth, right? To be able to look a challenge in the eye with joy and anticipation and say, I'm going to learn something. I'm going to gain something from this. It's going to be hard, but let's do it. Let's get in there and do it. Right. That can be a very joyful experience, so just let's do it. Let's take it on. Let's get it on.
Reminds me of that young mother, not only if you've seen it, who's got no arms. And
yes.
Dressing up her baby with her feet. It's amazing. Yep. And she does all the snapping, everything about the thing makes the baby beautiful. And got no arms, So that can be very inspiring. And that, as you say, creativity, jump in and then discover you can do so much with the limitations.
Yeah. Yeah. When your motivation is limitless, right? Your elevation is limitless, right? Your capabilities are only limited to the extent of your imagination, your creativity, and your will, right? It boils down to how much do you want something? When you want it bad enough, you'll find a way of doing it, getting it, right? And there's tremendous joy in that struggle. And as I said before, not just when you get it, not just in the victory, but in the whole process. You know, when we see successful athletes and successful celebrities, and we say, oh my gosh, that was an incredible performance. You know, I'm so impressed with them and that gold medal winning performance. What we don't see is the years of 7, 8, 9 hours a day of grueling practice, right? Of suffering, of pain, of doubt, right? We don't see that, but we see the joy and the exhilaration when they win, right? But there's so much power in the preparation that we don't see in the little on our TV or computer, right? We don't see that, but that's where the real magic is, right? The real magic happens in the training and the doing and the gaining of the skills. So, yeah. So anyway, it's time. I really appreciate you all being here tonight. I appreciate you making the effort to want to live a more limitless and joyful life. When we make that decision, we make it happen. We make that decision to find tools, use the tools, practice the tools, and make it happen. Not only is your life more joyful, everyone's life who's connected to you is more joyful. And we can make a more joyful world by doing that. So I never pass up the chance to thank you and show my gratitude. I never pass up the chance to say, I love you. I care about you. And I hope that you will have a wonderful evening, a joyful evening, a wonderful week, a wonderful life, a joyful life. And I look forward to seeing you next time. So take care, and we'll see you again soon.